Greetings, students. Today we're going to discuss practice test 2-6. Let's begin. Question 1, find the midpoint. Again, to find the midpoint, we add our 2 points together and divide it in half. So we got negative 4 and 8 added to positive 2, negative 2. That's going to yield negative 2, comma 6. Then I divide these by 2. So my midpoint is at negative 1, comma 3. Or another way to look at this is to say negative 1 is halfway between negative 4 and 2, and 3 is halfway between 8 and negative 2. Question 2, two sides of the triangle are given. Find the range of the possible third side. So to get the possibilities, I subtract. The third side must be greater than 1, and then I add. The third side must be less than 17, so the third side must be between 1 and 17. Third side we will call x. Question 3. These two angles are our same side interior, or consecutive interior angles, so I add them together. X plus 100, well, that's 1383, and that's equal to 180. 183 subtracted from 180 yields negative 3 for the value of x. Question 4. Solve for x. QP is a midsegment. That's a typo. It should say XY is a midsegment. I'll fix it before I print it off for you. XY is the midsegment here. So I'm going to double the midsegment times it by 2. And it's going to be equal to the side it corresponds with. So 4x minus 28 will be equivalent to x plus 2. Taking x from 4x yields 3x. Adding 28 to 2 yields 30. And 3 into 30 makes 10. The value of x is 10. I can check my work here. 10 plus 2 is 12. And then 20 minus 14 is 6. So 6 and 12 are the two lengths here. And 6 is half of 12. Question 5, exterior angle theorem. The exterior angle of any triangle or any shape or any triangle is equal to the sum of the remote interior angles. So I'm gonna subtract 65 from 159 because these two add up together to make 159. Again, if that angle's outside, we subtract it. If that angle's inside, we add it to get the outside angle. So the exterior or the interior angle here, the missing interior angle, is 94 degrees. 94 plus 65 would be 159, in other words. Question 6, triangle sum theorem. 80 plus 4 plus a 40 is 120. 180 minus 120 is equal to 60. So this angle here is 60. So if I was asking you for the angle, which is kind of what I'm asking you for, you'd say it's 60. It does look like I'm supposed to solve for x, so I'll go through and solve for x here. But this angle is 60. So 5x plus 15 will be equal to 60. Taking 15 from 60 is 45. So x here is 9. 45 plus 15 is 60. Question 7, we got the medians here. So this is our, remember our acronym PAMACICO, PAMACICO. The perpendicular bisector goes with the circumcenter. The angle bisector goes with the incenter. The medians go with the centroid. And the altitudes go with the orthocenter. So this is a median. It goes with our centroid, the center of the triangle by its mass. So if LF is 24, the entire length is 24. That entire length is 24. Again, it's SF is half of LS. So when I'm looking at this, I divide LF into thirds to get the two lengths here. So this length SF will be 8 and this will be 16 because SF is half of LS. So SF is equal to 8. If I would ask you for LS, you would say it's 16. Again, because the entire length is 24. All right. The angle bisectors, this is an incenter. So XD is 4. XP is 5. I do have a right triangle here. Triangle XDP. And XP is the hypotenuse of said triangle. So I will take PD squared plus 4 squared, and that will equal value to 5 squared. So PD squared plus 16 equal value to 25. 16 from 25 is 9. Then the square root of 9 is 3. PD is equal in value to 3. Again, that's because that's a right triangle. Triangle XDP with 5 as the hypotenuse and 4 in DP as its 2 legs. Alright, so this is a parallelogram, meaning that consecutive sides here, or consecutive angles, are supplementary. Or you could say opposite angles are congruent as well. So this will be adding into 180 again. So I'll add this together. 27x plus 72 will be equal to 180. 72 from 180 is 108. Therefore, x is 4. And because this one's a parallelogram, opposite sides are still congruent. So I'll take 3x minus 6 and I'll set it equal to 18. 6 and 18 is 24. And when they add together, and 3 into 24 is 8. Alright, so I do intend to make everything on the front worth 5 points. So I can have 50 points on the front here. And if you're struggling with these, again, you can come in for some help. I'll be here Thursday morning and afternoon to help you out. So on the back here, I got 12 questions. So I'll probably make these worth 4 each. And I'll make 2 of them worth 5. So it ends up as 50 total on the back. So convex versus concave. Convex and concave. Concave should cave in on itself. Again, concave should have an angle that caves in, or that is interior to the shape, as we put it in the notes. This is a convex shape. It's a convex shape. Again, the cave should be inside if it does concave, or a space where you have an angle that's inside the shape. Right, regular or not regular. Regular would mean all the sides and angles are congruent. So this is a regular shape because all the sides and the angles are congruent. It's a regular hexagon. It's got 6 sides, so hexagon, regular hexagon. I didn't ask you what type of polygon it is, so you didn't have to put hexagon here. That's it. That is what it is. All right, question 13. We got 2 angles with a side in between them. So that is angle, angle with a side between it. Angle, side, angle. That is congruence. So I'll mark it that as congruent. All right, triangle classification. All these sides are different. So that's scalene. And because all the sides are different, it's most likely going to, and because all the sides are different, it's not going to be anything like a isosceles or equilateral. It's scalene. And then the angle here is bigger than 90, less than 180, so that's obtuse. One of the angles bigger than 90, less than 180. All right, question 15, point slope form. I want my perpendicular slope first. So the slope perpendicular to 5 halves is negative 2/5. I flipped it, negated, of course. Then I have y minus the y value equals my slope times the quantity x minus my x value. So my y value was 1, my x value was 3, and my slope 5 halves becomes negative 2/5. The reciprocal negated. All right, every quadrilateral adds up to 360. So I'll take these angles, these 3 angles together, add them together, 114, 82, and 69. So that's 6 plus 9 is 15. That's 1, 2, 10, 16. Right here I have 265 degrees accounted for. And I will subtract that from 360 to get the missing value of the angle that I need to complete my picture, complete my quadrilateral, 95 degrees. Take your time here on this one. It's addition and subtraction. It's something you can all do, just like the triangle one where you add and subtract from 180. This one, though, is add and subtract from 360. And again, I don't use 180 here because this is not a parallelogram. Quadrilaterals add up to 360. Parallelograms also add to 360, but they have that 180 theorem too with the angles next to each other. All right. Awesome. Next item, find the measure of the angle on the trapezoid. So again, with trapezoids, they add up to 360 total, and also they have the nice thing that the top and the bottom are parallel, meaning that these two angles are consecutive interior. So I can subtract from 180 here to get that missing angle W, which is 78 degrees. I can't really do anything to find these exact measures here. I know they're supplementary, but I don't know what their measurements would be, U and T. But I can find W is exactly 78 because this angle was labeled as on 102. All right, question 18, mid-segments on a trapezoid. The mid-segment, again, is halfway between or half the length of the sum of the two other segments, the top and the bottom. So if 11 and 17 are added together, they make 28. And if I cut that in half, I'll get the mid-segment length, which is 14. Halfway between 11 and 17. 3 more than 11, 3 less than 17 is 14. All right, the most specific name for each figure. So these ones can be kind of difficult. So I have all of the sides congruent. So when all the sides are congruent, we call that either a rhombus or a square. So in this case, because all the sides are congruent and the angles are not 90, we're going to call this a rhombus. It is also a parallelogram and a quadrilateral, but rhombus is the most specific name, the name that applies most specifically to this. All right, question 20, when I have one set of parallel sides with four sides, we call that a trapezoid. Trapezoid, one set of parallel sides. Not two sets, one set of parallel sides. So that would be the only name that really applies to this. Quadrilateral as well would apply to this. It's got four sides. All right, 21, all quadrilaterals that have all the angles congruent. So if all the angles are congruent, we have a rectangle, because all the angles on a rectangle are 90. We have a square, because all the angles on a square are also 90. Do we have anything else besides a rectangle and a square where all the angles are 90? No, we do not. All right, question 22. Diagonals congruent. Diagonals being congruent is a property of all parallelograms. All parallelograms have the diagonals. No. Not all parallelograms. Only certain parallelograms. So sometimes, again, I get confused with this stuff as well. So with question 22, when we're saying diagonals congruent, what we're looking for here for your answers would be, let me look it up in my notebook here, make sure I give you the right answer. Hold on a second. All right, so that's what I thought it was. So the rhombus does not have diagonals congruent, but the rectangles and the squares do. So this would apply to rectangles and squares. Rectangles and squares have diagonals congruent. Those angles have to be 90 for those diagonals to be congruent. Anyways, so study your properties of parallelograms for F quadrilaterals for these two to get these two right. I have to review them every year myself to make sure I get them right. We did do a chart with this in the notebook, and you can look that up in the notebook. Come in for some extra help if you want, or if you need some extra help. Good luck.